She's completely unexplainable. You think she's a good girl? But once you get to know her, you realize, wow, she's everything. She's crazy, she's funny, she's honest. And you never know what she'll do next.
Hey, I'm glad you guys came back. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about a trip that I've decided to go on. I've got to share. I'm Tracy Bush Pate. I'm here with my girlfriend, Livia Revo. Livia is a travel agent extraordinaire, which is how this trip came about. And I want to let you know the good news is that my Being Tracy page on Facebook is back. Yay! I'm so happy. I mean, you have no idea. I was reaching over 6 million on that page. Now, since it was gone for a month, I'm already back down to 100,000, but I'm hoping to build it back up. So please follow my page, like my page, whatever you have to do. It's www.facebook.com/Being Tracy, Tracy. And so anyway, another thing that I have to share is that my father did pass. And so it's been a really super tough time for me and my family. I went to Colombia last weekend and we had a service for him. And so I came back and, you know, it's funny how loss is, right? This isn't going to be a show on loss, but I thought I'll just touch on it a little bit. I've never had a loss that great in my life before. So before I left, you know, I cried a little bit. My daughter came and stayed with me. And then spontaneously on Friday morning, I decided, that's it. I'm going to go be with my family, my brothers and sisters in Colombia, as they're putting together Dad's remains. And I just made my plane ticket at 9 o'clock on Friday morning to leave at 12:30. And, you know, the whole time I was gone, I didn't cry at all because I was with my brothers and sisters surrounded by love, right? And even though I was seeing what was still remaining of my father, it was amazing. But then as soon as I got home this week, you know, it hits, right? It hits.
Yes,
You've said you've been through loss like this. So anyway, you know, I didn't have any plans, and then Livia comes from out of the blue. Okay, now Livia and I, how do we know each other, Livia?
We met 7 years ago?
I mean, I think it was like 8 years ago.
8
maybe
years
7
ago?
or 8.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
It was when I first moved to South Beach. Okay, so you met Rick Sykes recently, which is one, and I told a story about the South Beach crowd there. Well, Livia was one of the South Beach crowd, the crowd, and she knows it, and I know it. Right? Did you watch that podcast with Rick Sykes?
Yes, I did. It was so
you
funny.
you totally knew it. You were probably there. You might have been there. But anyway, I was in Livia's wedding. She got married to a man in South Beach, and
that's how I came to South Beach.
That's how you came to South Beach. Okay. Yes. And so how did we meet, though, ultimately?
I think we met at Smith.
Was it Smith and Walensky, the famous Smith and Walensky? You remember I got that text I called him on my blog, O.
Yes.
Text from O, and I know you know who that is, and I know who that is.
O who introduced us.
And it was O who introduced us, and we're not going to say the name, but I know O knows who he is.
Yes.
And they all appreciate the fact, I think, that I'm not saying their name. O told me after that podcast, he said, we're just waiting for you to come out with more information about us, but we know you're going to say it, but you're going to say some name that only we're going to know who it is.
Exactly.
That's what O said with his friends, you know, our friends. But
we knew immediately who O was.
That's what I said. I said, Rick Sykes, do you know who O is? He said, I have no idea. I'm like, think about it, Rick. Just think about it.
Exactly.
O is a very instrumental person in South Beach, a connector, a connector. He would introduce me to a lot of my friends there in your group that I became a part of. And so Livia, I guess, saw me on Facebook, she also saw that in June I went to Italy, and I had such a great time there. And I got up every morning, and I went out and went on an adventure. And so then Livia just kind of sent me a message the other night. And of course, you know, everybody's calling me to wish condolences for my father, and I'm not answering the phone because I just don't want to talk about it, you know? And then I finally did start answering the phone yesterday, and you know what everybody pretty much wants to talk about? Guess what everybody wants to talk about? They want to talk about their experience. They want to talk about themselves. And I'm like super busy right now planning a trip to with Liv, and they were telling me about what it was like for them to go through all this stuff. And I'm like, look, I love talking to you and I love hearing from you and God bless you, but I'm really super busy right now with my business and planning this trip and everything. So
in less than 48 hours.
Yes, exactly. So Liv, tell us what went through your mind.
What happened was, this trip has been planned a year ago. And my friend in California broke her hip just 2 days ago. And I started thinking, who am I going to travel with? And I remember, because these are very fast-paced trips,
Right. Right.
And I remember seeing you in Europe in your Facebook page talking and by yourself, but I knew you traveled with someone. And I said, okay, this woman looks like she has so much energy. And I knew you from South Beach. You always were all over.
Right.
I said, let me call her. And I'm so happy you came and you're able to travel.
Yeah, it was just, you know what? And I'm going to put this up to the manifesting I've been doing. I've been manifesting it's raining money. It's raining my true love, And this is a trip that just came about where all the expenses are paid. She said, all you have to do is just get a ticket to Romania and back.
That's it.
And my first answer, but when I just saw the text come in, my first answer was, I saw her, you need a trip. And I was thinking, no. And then I just saw something about Romania. I'm like, Romania? I'm like, I've never wanted to go to Romania. Like, why would I go to Romania? And then I opened it up and read it. And I was like, wow, where did this come from? And so, here now we're going to go to Romania and Transylvania. And so how do you like that? That's the way light works. So let's see, my computer shut. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to dedicate this episode to my father. God bless his soul. He loved my podcasts. And honestly, I can just honestly say that I have never felt like my father was as proud of me since I've been doing this podcast, because he was really worried about me after I got divorced 13 years ago and worried that I was alone. And now he sees me in this podcast, and he and his wife told me his wife told me they would sit there and watch it over and over again on YouTube. So maybe that's how I got all my high watches on YouTube. But anyway, they loved it, and I want to send that out to my dad. God bless your soul, Dad, and I miss you and I love you, and this is for you.
And he is with you.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel that, and I needed to go be with my family this last weekend. So anyway, and my first question is, why the trip to Romania? Why did you choose Romania? I was like, Romania? What?
Okay. In my line of business, this is a fam trip. What it means is you are invited, sometimes by the tourism bureau of different countries.
Okay.
And some people are going to Saudi Arabia. Some people choose to go, to Asia.
Uh-huh.
And it's organized by, in this case, this one is organized by ASTA, which is the Association State of Travel Agencies. And I decided, I've been in Romania 2 times, but the 2 times that I was there, that I was in Bucharest, I made it to Brands, where Dracula Castle is, but I never was able to go inside of the castle.
Okay.
And since this time is organized by the Bureau of Romania, I said, okay, this is it. I'm going, and we're going to go through the whole country. And Romania is in the Eastern Europe. It's a beautiful country surrounded by the Carpathian Mountains, and you have the area of Transylvania. You have the Black Church that is very well known, and we're going to go all around. So be prepared, bring your sneakers, because we're going to walk and walk.
Oh, good. I've got some great sneakers that
Yes.
I just bought recently.
And a lot of culture. It's a beautiful country. You're really going to enjoy it.
Now, what inspired you to take a trip, or to even, I just can't, I would have never thought of Romania, but I know you've done a lot of traveling.
Yes, it really wasn't an inspiration. It was when I saw it, my first thing was, okay, with them, I'm going to make it to Dracul Castle. And for all of you who wants to go to Romania, one thing I got very upset, I wasn't a travel agent then, about this travel agent and this travel guide. He picked us up from the hotel at 9 in the morning, okay? And by the time that we make it to the castle, it was 11:30. It was a line of maybe a couple of thousand people. And I told him, I said, why did you pick us up so late? You know? And he said, well, some people doesn't get up earlier. I said, well, I don't live in Romania. I would have got up at 5 in the morning, be there at 7, and be the first 100 on the line.
Right.
We never made it, you know,
Right.
so we left. And I wasn't in the travel industry then, but I started taking notes. And that was mainly the reason, you know, going back to Romania. And of course, seeing the country, because as you know, I've been in Antarctica, the Arctic, Africa, India, all over the world. I mean, there is really, I think, some few countries that I need to go. But, and that's how I started this business.
Right.
My love for
right.
travel.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you also changed because you used to do real estate. So why is it that you decided to change into travel?
Well, I started real estate, you know, when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Okay, in California. I still have my license. Then I came to Miami because my parents were here. I got divorced. Like you, I want to be close to my family.
Right.
And I got the license and went into managing buildings. Then I got married. And my ex-husband is the one who wanted to travel.
Right.
Who always been traveling. I traveled before, but no, you know, with that intensity because he's more cruising.
Right.
I'm more a land person. I like to be in one place, get to know the place, enjoy it, feel the culture.
Yeah.
So I traveled the world with him. When we got divorced, it was like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going back to real estate?
Uh-huh.
But then I said, no, I have traveled the world. I can bring the joy of traveling to people who hasn't been there. I can talk to them about it, you know, and tell them how good it is to travel because
Right.
it opens up your mind.
Right.
You know, you see how people lives in another country, and many times you feel very fortunate, and many times you said, I wish I was living here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's like a very nice. And that's how I started it.
Now tell me, I need to know a little bit about Transylvania because that's where I know we're going. And I've told people, like, I love, now listen, you know me, being Tracy, I love to surprise people. So as soon as I got this invitation, I thought, wow, isn't that cool? Like where's Tracy following? Oh, she's in Transylvania, you know? And the whole thing, people are asking me, like, what is my Being Tracy Facebook page? It's based on the Being Tracy blog, which I'm going to read later. And I've got the podcast, Being Tracy. What is all this? This is all about real life. That's what it's all about. Real life. Crazy things happen to me. Amazing, wonderful, funny things happen to me. I can't say what it's like to be Livia, but I can say what it's like to be me. And I got to say, I got some pretty good stories, which I'm sure you do too. But I love to share, and so that people can learn what I'm going through so that you can either do what I've done or am doing, or you can learn from my mistakes because I'm pretty open about everything and move on so that you don't have the same kind of things happen to you that happen to me. But if that's the case, but anyway, things are going pretty good right now. I'm on a roll. I told my sister that I was invited to go to Transylvania. That was the first thing I did. I put it on the family chat. I was invited to Transylvania. My sister's first response, Jacqueline, I'm going to give you credit here. She said, "Don't go." That was the first thing she said. Now she's a real Catholic, super Catholic. Has a little bit of trouble with like the Halloween and the ghosts idea of Halloween and everything like that. But I like to focus on the good things of Halloween, the good parts of Halloween that's not meant to scare you, not meant to things that scare you. Now, can you tell us a little bit about Transylvania and maybe some positive things? I've only read beautiful things about Transylvania since I've been thinking about this. Is that it's just a beautiful place, right?
Transylvania, actually, you know, like you said, people knows more Transylvania, and they don't know it's Romania. Part of Transylvania is the
Right.
area, right?
Right.
And he became famous because of Dracula, which is in Brands.
Dracula.
Okay, Brands, the area of Brands where we're going to go and visit it and everything. And
The,
they
the
have
area of France?
Brands. BR, Drumstone, Dracula. Brands is where the Dracula
How do you
castle
spell that?
is. Brans. Sorry for my accent. I mean, people keep asking, what?
That's okay. I just want to make sure I understand you.
Then I said, you know where Dracula castle is? Oh, okay. I said, okay.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that
brands. Okay. I'm going to get to know a whole bunch of new
Brands,
things.
yeah.
New words.
So you go that's the Transylvania area. It's full of medieval castles, which you're gonna love.
I know, I'm excited.
It's a very Catholic, Orthodox place.
Okay. See, Jacqueline?
And you
My
ask
sister?
me, Halloween did it started there? But actually, Halloween, one of their beginnings is Ireland.
Ireland. That's where my
Okay,
mother's
no
was from.
Mexico. The Celtics is a Celtic culture. It was the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter.
Okay.
And they used to celebrate, and that turned into Halloween.
Okay.
But they used to make the parties and everything. In Mexico, it's November 1st, which is the dead, the Day of the Dead.
Right, right.
So it's
Because I met somebody the other night that said that Halloween, he heard the Halloween actually started in Mexico. And Livia said, no, that's completely wrong.
no. And next year we should go to Ireland because I heard.
I would love to go to Ireland. That's where my mother was from.
I've been in Ireland.
My mother's
so many
last name is
times.
Ireland without the D.
Yeah. Actually, the first time I went to Ireland was in a tour with the Game of Thrones. It was so funny because everybody in the bus was with the computer, and the guy have a big screen in the bus, and he will show a part of the Game of Thrones, and he said, okay, this is where we're going to stop now. And we will go
Wow.
and see that place,
Wow.
Yeah. So it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, so this leads us to my Halloween blog that I wrote November 1st of 2020. Okay.
Does that mean it's
blog time?
time?
It's the blog time. Don't we have a good sound for that, Ben?
Yes,
do we have a good
do.
song for
We've
that?
got a good sound. You ready for it? Here we are.
Okay, it begins. Good morning. I'm grateful to be waking up healthy today. Let me turn up my light here so I can see this a little bit more here. Okay, I'm grateful to be waking up healthy today. Every morning I wake up and find something to be grateful for. So yesterday was Halloween 2020. So I guess I wrote this 3 years ago. And this has been quite a year. I moved to Coral Gables from South Beach, Miami, Florida, after some research of the world to find the best place for me. I am very happy here. That was during COVID. I live quite close to the Miracle Mile, and so far I really don't need a car here as I really didn't need or have one in South Beach for 5 years, but I decided to get one to help get me around quicker since I have also joined a real estate group here and started a new business. Excuse me. Yesterday, I dressed up in a lifeguard costume in honor of Halloween. I walked to the Miracle Mile, Booyah, a place that I enjoyed there, and took a seat at the open air bar to get some work done. Better than working at home, I decided. So I ordered tonic water and lime, and then croquetas, and then soup, and finally calamari. While there working, I started getting messages from someone who I'd connected with on a dating site. For fun, I met someone at the bar who created a Baywatch-ish video because I was wearing a red bathing suit, And then I sent that to the guy. And he responded by sending me recent videos of him in Egypt and Dubai. This guy was starting to look really interesting. I really haven't had time for dating as my goal and priority now in this time in my life is to help people reach their goals and dreams, especially through buying, selling, and investing in real estate. So, however, this being a holiday weekend, I thought, well, having a date might make it a little more fun. So on a whim, this man, we'll call him Palm Beach Guy, decided to hop in the shower at 5:30 p.m. and take a drive to Coral Gables and take me out, which I also encouraged him to do. I had a few invitations to parties, but no concrete plans. I was very careful to not disillusion him into thinking this was going to be a sleepover first date. Now, have you had a problem with that at all, going out with men? Have you been dating much since you've been?
Not yet, but I've been dating before, and any guy that wants to go out with you wants to sleep with you the first night. I mean, it will be very unusual, but it's up to us girls to let them know we're not interested.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I
Exactly.
thought. So I was very careful not to disillusion him into thinking this was going to be a sleepover date. I told him about a guy from Naples, Marco Island, a friend of my girlfriend's, who had just come this week on Wednesday and stayed at the Colonnade Hotel in Coral Gables, where when he came to town just to meet me, see my girlfriend, and take us out, and said it was very nice and not too expensive at that hotel. So, however, Palm Beach guy said he had family here that he could easily stay with. Palm Beach guy said he'd be here in an hour and 40 minutes. So I decided to go home, make a costume change, and freshen up to liven things up a bit. We spoke as he was starting his drive, and he said that he had not spoken to his family yet, nor made reservations at a nearby hotel. What would that make you think? I mean, he hadn't made any plans. He was still planning. Like, I didn't know what he was thinking. Like, this is the thing.
He was thinking that's it. He wasn't going to drive 2
I'm
hours.
like,
not to
I
sleep
have
with
not
you.
even met this man. He's coming to meet me, driving an hour and a half. Anyway, so this alarmed me. So again, I encouraged him to do this during his long drive. Like, freaking get yourself a hotel room or talk to your family. Do whatever you have to do because you're not staying with me. All right, so as I wanted to make sure that he wouldn't need to drive home after drinking, I told him that. Honestly, though, I've been in this situation before, and if you've read any of my other blogs, and it ruins a night to have it end when my date has a misunderstanding of how the date will end. So I'm devoted now to making things crystal clear. I don't know. Do you think I'm doing that? I mean, does it sound like I'm doing that? Ben, what do you think? Ben, is that crystal clear?
No, you're making it pretty clear.
Very
Definitely
clear.
very
I
clear.
would say so. Okay.
Definitely.
Listen.
It couldn't be any clearer, I don't think.
When he arrived in his Cadillac SUV, it was raining, and he had a little trouble figuring out where to pick me up. But finally, I hopped in the car. I noticed that he just kept saying that he was in an SUV, not mentioning that it was a Cadillac that kept passing me on the street. Like, I'm sitting out there, it's raining. He's driving past me in this Cadillac SUV. I'm like, is that him? Is that him? I don't know. But so I was a little bit impressed that he didn't say it was a Cadillac. But if he'd said it was a Cadillac, I'd been jumping up and down, like I didn't know what it was. All right. So anyway, when I got in the car, I noticed that Palm Beach guy looked a little older than he looked in the videos that he'd sent me before our personal meeting. Throughout the night, he again stated that he was 56, but I really thought he seemed much older than my 52 years, which now I'm 55, 33 years ago. He also was already drinking. Like, he's already drinking. He just drove an hour and a half. Okay, that was interesting. Offered me some, which I declined, but truly, after the misunderstanding with the pickup and standing in the rain watching him pass me, I told him I was ready for a drink at a nice, quiet place. I wanted to get to know this man who had driven all this way to meet me. Okay, does that sound like I'm giving him a shot?
You were very nice to start with.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Very, very nice.
Well, thank you guys.
Especially
so glad to have
knows
your support.
his age, and everything. I would have just told him, I need to go to the restroom here, stop in this restaurant, and we'll never come back.
How many times has that happened to you where you meet a man and he doesn't look
Yes,
like his
and I
pictures,
said,
or
I
his
need to
pictures
go
are
to
old?
the restroom, and I left through the other
Is that what you did? You did that?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I've been in that situation too. And I mean, even if after he drove an hour and a half to see you, would you do that?
I don't care. It's his problem.
That's
he
true.
knew he was lying.
That's true.
He knew, first of all, he was that older.
Well, actually, this similar thing happened to me too one time. When I first moved to Boca, there was a man that picked me up, and we actually drove around. He was going to take me to some place on Deerfield Beach that sounded interesting, and I just was new to Boca. I didn't know Boca at all, but I got in the car, and I looked at him, and he's an old guy, and to me, an old guy. And so that means over 10 years older than me. And I was just looking at him, and I said, wow, you don't look like your pictures. You took those pictures a long time ago. And he goes, yeah, but I look the same, don't I? And I was just like, and I'm
I
looking at
believe
I'm looking at his Adam's apple like hanging there and everything like this on the side. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. And then we started talking, and we had nothing in common. He was not looking for me. He was looking for someone else. And I just finally told him that. I said, look, I'm not the girl you're looking for. And he ended up driving me all around. Even we drove past the restaurant we were supposed to go to, and he brought me right back home because it just was not what I was looking for either.
I'm very
You didn't go
daring.
to the
We didn't go. We didn't get out of the car.
Oh, wow.
We didn't get out of the car.
And you're very nice. You know, when I used to have dates on Datelines or wherever, I will just wait in the restaurant, not going in any car because I will be terrified. Just wait there. And if they were coming and they were nice, I will continue. And if they were not, because it happens to me, I met one man who was 110 years old, I think so. I was very nice, you know, talking to him and everything. And then I said, excuse me, I need to go to the restaurant, pick up my purse, left through the other side and left. That's it. Didn't bother, you know, because I actually believe these men that told you, but I haven't changed. Because
That's what they think.
when he
we
looks-
all think that we don't change, right?
No, when he looks himself in the mirror, he looks a young man.
Yeah.
That's why you see these old people with the 20, 30 years younger and they think they're being loved. I mean, be prepared with your wallet, you know, because that's the only thing that they want.
Exactly.
But they believe, no, they're just this great, good-looking, you know, stand.
Well, there you go. So anyway, well, then it continues where we or I decided to forego the Halloween parties immediately. It was hot and I knew it would be loud. I wanted to sit down and get to know this guy, give him a chance, as my girlfriend is always telling me. So I directed him to take me to Fleming's on the Miracle Mile, which is very close. I can walk home if I need to, which I really love. Living in Florida around these places where I live, you know, they're always close places to go, so I can always walk home. Or, you know, with Uber now, we can just call up the Uber, which I've done that before too. Anyway, so the lady on the phone at Fleming said that they were fully committed for dinner reservations, but they had tables available in the lounge. Perfect. I prefer to sit in the lounge anyway. So Palm Beach guy valeted the car, and we went inside for dinner, which we had agreed upon. We agreed that we'd just get a bite, as neither of us were that hungry. He kept telling me that he was really relaxed and we could go to wherever I wanted. He just was looking forward to seeing the area, he said. One of my girlfriends called from one of the parties that I'd been invited to and confirmed that it was just a stand around the bar kind of party in the open air bar, but on a steamy, hot Miami night. Okay, I hate that. I hate going to bars and standing up. My criteria is I've got to be able to go in and get a seat, sit down, you know, get a nice drink. Like, that's my criteria. I'm not going to freaking go stand anywhere. I'm over that. So anyway, our dinner included 3 appetizers that he chose. I told him that I just finished a calamari that afternoon, but he ordered it anyway, and I told him that was fine. And while he drank a Jack and Coke, I chose the red wine that they had on special price. After he allowed me to try his drink, Palm Beach guy was full of stories. Sounded like he used to be quite a guy. Went to West Point. Lost his father in the military very young. He was raised by an abusive stepfather who had since passed. I got all the stories.
Wow.
Palm Beach guy is super smart and has a very high IQ, he told me. And I noticed wears a beautiful solid gold Ferragamo watch. He said a couple of times that he was doing all of the talking and he caught me yawning once. Palm Beach guy said he thought he was, quote, boring me. Although in this situation, when my date appears more interested in himself than me and is sharing so much of his past, I really would rather listen than share anything of mine. What do you think when you're on a date or you're out with someone and they're talking about how all the great things they've done in their life?
I think it's all me, red flag.
Yeah. For sure. I'm sitting there thinking the same thing. I always find myself wondering when this happens, is he nervous? Is this why he is dominating the conversation with stories of his life? Does he really like me? Is that why he's sharing so much of himself? He wants me to know? And finally, has he done anything wonderful lately? That's the big question I'm always wondering. Or is it all a historical remembrance?
You're right, because he
Right?
was talking
It's
in the
like,
past.
if he's got all these great
Everything was
stories
on
about
the
what he
past.
used to do, I'm thinking, what have you done in the last year? What have you done in the last 5 years, 10 years? Can you tell me anything recently you've done?
Did you ask?
Well, listen to the rest of my story.
Okay.
Anyway, with this, he noticed that I didn't eat much and asked if I wanted anything more at the table. And again, we waited for his car. I would have loved a steak instead of the bar food, but we both agreed when we started that we weren't hungry enough for both, and he seemed to really want the bar food. After I and the waiter both read him the menu because he forgot his glasses, which made me concerned about his driving. However, he said he just had trouble reading texts and menus. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, it could
I
be
have
he
heard that
was-
before.
Because he's probably can drive far away, but
So
I
that's
call
a
it
thing?
nearsighted.
That's a
could
thing?
be.
You don't think that's just full of it?
Nearsighted and farsighted?
Yeah, because
You-
I have problems
Nearsighted and
reading
farsighted?
text,
I have
but I
heard that
can
before.
drive without glasses.
Really?
Yeah, I don't need them to drive.
Okay. Well, then Palm Beach guy kept noticing that my phone was lighting up. I told him, don't worry. It's just my family chat with my brothers and sisters, dad, and their kids. He told me to go ahead and read it. I told him, well, I've missed 16 messages, which is unusual. So I did take a minute and read it. I read the messages, and then he noticed the final photo. And the photo was of a man walking through a war zone and said, this is what voting is like in 2020. And then in voting 2016, it was like, just nothing, no big deal. But in 2020 and 2024, voting is like a war zone, right? So I told him that. I laughed and showed him. I thought it was hilarious. With this, a mini political argument started. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
So I had not realized that we had differing political opinions. I thought, why does this keep happening to me? I put it on my dating profile. I always post my political preference, not because it's a problem for me, but because I found it can be a problem for my dates who have a different one.
Yes.
It especially was a problem when I went to LA, California. That made me leave there really quickly. But anyway, more about that later. As my mother once said about race, she said, it's hard enough to connect with someone who has the same race. It's better to just kind of keep it in the same, your relationships with the same race person. And also, I kind of I'm starting to think that it's also good to have them have the same political values, because there's so many different difficult things that come up in relationships, right?
Yeah, but I think that in political values, as long as you don't touch, it's like religion, It will be a little harder if somebody is very religious, and you're not in the relationship. But I have been, like my husband, he is a Democrat. I'm a Republican, and we never touch political issues. You just don't discuss it. And a lot of people are from different parties and they're married. Religion is different, because religion, you have to, continue going. And, that's different.
Well, so then I'm starting to think, should the date just end here? I'm I mean, I know he drove an hour and a half, but
time to go.
Maybe I can walk home from here. Don't worry about it. Then I realized that he still wanted to see more of the Gables, and he had to and he'd driven a long way to get there. So what am I going to do now? Okay, all right. I made the executive decision as he put the power in my hands to show him one more place that I thought would have a fun Miami Halloween vibe and music, Copper 29, not far away. Palm Beach guy decided to move the car, for which I was grateful, because as it is only a short walk, it was slippery after the rain, and I didn't feel up to it. We walked the short walk from the parking garage and walked into Copper 29. We passed another fun-looking place, but I urged Palm Beach guy to keep walking, after he paused there, and I almost lost him. I told him to keep walking, as you will like this one better. We need to get there early if we are going to get a chance of sitting down. Sure enough, we walked in. It was decked out and decorated for Halloween with Halloween garb. And the music was fun. Danceable sounds. All the bar stools were taken. But as we slowly walked down the bar and stood next to a couple of stools that were empty, but apparently being saved. The first one was being saved by a guy who returned and confirmed he wasn't going to give it up for the likes of me. And even though most of the time he was just standing. Does this irritate you at all?
Horrible.
It drives me nuts. The second available seat was saved for a younger woman who returned, took one look at me, and graciously offered it to me. I learned this woman's name was Andrea. Andrea said she loved me, and we were going to be friends. We both agreed that we could just instantly feel a chemistry between us. Funny. Same thing happened last time I was there. I met a wonderful woman waiting for the bathroom who now wants to join my real estate group. This is
amazing.
Yeah. You never know how you connect with people, right?
You don't.
So Palm Beach guy asked me to order 2 drinks for us. And as he said, I appeared to know people there so I could get service faster. I ordered us espresso martinis. Let me get a drink here. I'm reading a lot. Okay, so we started making friends with the group around us. Andrea was just beautiful and had just met the guy she was with, too, she told me. Though they appeared to be getting along a lot better than we were. And they were a lot friendlier. Andrea said she was about ready to leave because it was getting full and she lives with her grandparents and is wary of COVID. I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, Andrea's date told me that I should make a date with this. Wait, this is a good one. I went to the bathroom. When I came back, Andrea's date told me I shouldn't make my date drive all the way back to Palm Beach. He said it a couple times and loud enough for the whole group that we were standing with to hear. I was thinking, what did this guy say? Now it was my responsibility that this grown man who has not made any after drinking plans for himself, it's now my responsibility to figure out what he's going to do?
No.
I did not respond, but Andrea looked at me with the look of support and basic, I got you, girl. She agreed with me. Andrea said again, we have a lot to talk about. We will get together soon. Palm Beach guy ordered us 2 more drinks. And so he's in here drinking up a storm, even though he's not sure how he's going to get home or how he thinks he's going to, I guess, get me drunk so he can come stay with me. So he ordered us 2 more drinks, and we all kept having fun until it immediately stopped. Andrea and her date disappeared. The other handsome guy started making out with his date and dancing. And then Palm Beach guy said to me he was leaving. And he wanted to know, was I going to stay? At first, I told him no, after feeling the effects of the liquor and not knowing what I needed, that I needed anymore. But then seeing that they were all still having fun, I thought maybe I could stay a little while more. It was only 10:30 p.m. Then everyone instantly disappeared except the hot young guy making out with the dirty dancing with his girlfriend. Okay. Around me, there were a bunch of people that I didn't recognize anymore. I sat there drinking water, watching the crowd, and considering if I would walk home or order a car. Then suddenly my date comes back and asked me if I was ready to leave. I guess he couldn't find the car.
Oh, boy.
I know, like, he's had enough to drink, right? He can't find the car now. Good thing he can see signs, but not read text messages or menus. Whatever. So I told him that I was ready to leave, and he kindly dropped me off at home. I thanked him and kissed him on the cheek, which he seemed disappointed with, got out of the car and asked him to text me when he got home or wherever he was going. I came inside and immediately to bed. When I woke this morning, I received a text from the Palm Beach guy. What do you think it said?
Oh, wow.
What do you think it said? It was the next morning. What do you
Okay,
think it said,
he
Ben?
either say it was very nice meeting you or told you your entire life.
Ben?
Maybe he said, thanks for standing me up last night or something like that.
It never ends well. That's what my friend told me about these blogs. That's why I stopped writing them, because they always have an ending with it's just like, yeah.
So what did he say? I'm curious.
Okay. So he said, let me go back to where I was. Okay, he said, thanks for your invitation to stay. Not. And then he thought I was rude for not inviting him to stay the night. Wow. There you have it, I wrote. And I had put these up on my blog page. I'd put up the pictures of the passages and stuff that he texts. Nothing kills a date more than when it's with someone who doesn't have enough respect for a woman to allow it to end gracefully. Hence, my decision to focus on real estate right now instead of dating. And then I gave an afterthought from a romantic, which is me. It was actually the girlfriend's respectful gentleman friend who restored my faith in men enough to want to try again with the date last night. Still hopeful, but thinking my attention is better placed elsewhere than on dating right now in my life. And that was back in 2020.
So you're dating again?
I mean, I have gone on a couple of dates recently.
And it has changed, or still the same crowd?
It's better I would say it's better in Palm Beach than it was in Miami for sure.
Well, Miami, I'm with you. Miami really is a place, like I always used to say, plastic people, you know.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely.
I just felt, this is what I was talking to some woman the other day. She was aged like 64, and I told her I was 55. She's like, oh, you're young. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. When I lived in Miami, I sure didn't feel young. Nobody acted like I was young, but I said, here in Boca, I love it because, I'm young here. Everybody's like, you're the young one. So it's like a new world up here, right? So anyway, but
you're young, you're beautiful, and you will find the right person, you know.
Or he'll find me. I'm expecting he's going to find me because I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting in. Some man texted me the other day and said he doesn't watch my I said, have you been watching my podcast? He said, well, not much. He said, I watched a couple of them, and it's so depressing because here you are looking for your soulmate, and we already went out to lunch. I'm like, sorry I disappointed you. I'm disappointing you. But some people think it's kind of funny, you know? And then he's like, no, he said, I'm just kidding. It's funny. Jeez, you know? But anyway, so the real estate minutes. Let's start with that. Da-da-da-da.
Doot, doot, doot.
Babe!
I did it.
Did you do it? I didn't hear it.
I know because you don't have the headphones. You can't hear it because you don't have the headphones, but I did it.
I
do it
don't
again.
need the headphones because it'll mess up my hair. Okay. So anyway, the real estate minute. I didn't do a lot of research on the real estate minute this week. I'm not going to lie. It's just been a little bit of a tough week. You know, I wanted to do a podcast before I leave to go on this wonderful trip. So what I did notice was in my research of Romania that high percentages of people are leaving Romania due to lack of job opportunities, especially those with a high education. There's also, I understand, corruption and low living standards, which I heard that the roads are difficult to pass in. And the largest Romanian American community is the state of New York. That's where most Romanians have gone from Romania when they leave.
Oh, really?
And a lot are coming here to Florida. So in Florida, I went ahead and I'm going to say a few of the reasons why Boca Raton is the best place to live. Okay, 1, we've got beautiful beaches. 2, we have great golfing year-round.
Yes.
3, we have bustling downtown scene, which is where I live in Meisner Park, or around Meisner Park. Also a growing job market, luxury living. It doesn't get much better than living here, and easy to get around. Like I still have a nice walkable lifestyle, and the health and wellness is the culture. It's all about everybody's keeping fit, taking care of themselves.
And you start from Boca Raton, Del Rey, where I live, and then Palm Beach, which everything is so close, so beautiful. I mean, I'm so happy because it reminds me, before I moved to Miami Beach, I live in the Falls.
Yeah.
And I own a house, you know. And
You lived where?
In the Falls, Kendall area.
The Falls.
When my daughter finished high school, I moved to Miami Beach. And I live in an apartment and then in another apartment. And now I went back and now I own a home, and I'm in gardening, and my house is so big.
Oh,
and
my
I
gosh,
love it.
that's awesome.
And I said, only moving north.
Yeah.
You know, is what I always wanted, and it's beautiful.
Well,
I love this area.
Yeah, that's what people are finding, that when they move north from Miami, some people that I know in Miami that have moved up here, they're finding instead of the 1-bedroom apartment or the studio, they're able to get 2 bedrooms, 2 baths for the same price, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of great opportunities up here. Anyway, send me a message if you want me or anyone from my amazing real estate team. They're across the world to call you and talk to you further about this. And also let us know what area you're living in, what area you're most interested in, and whether you are interested in buying, selling, investing in commercial or residential real estate. And so for help with all of your real estate needs, I'm Tracy Bush Pate, and you can reach me at Keller Williams Worldwide. My number is 561-245-4000. And my website, if you want to go search for your dream property, is livingtracy.kw.com. And Livia, do you want to share your contact information so everybody knows where to find you?
Livia Revo, and I'm Beyond Borders Odyssey, www.Beyond Borders Odyssey.
Beyond Borders.
Beyond
Odyssey.
Borders Odyssey.com. People ask why that name, and the reason is because I like to go off the path, find beautiful places. I have a book full of notes where to go to shop in Europe, where you get the best prices, where to go and eat, where to go around the other corners and really get to know the people, the culture, the excitements, and everything around. And I'm sure that when we come back, Tracy is going to come back with so much, if she doesn't start posting it when we are traveling, pictures and everything about Romania. It's a beautiful country. It's a very, very pretty country, and you're going to love it.
Good. I'm really excited.
I'm going to get you into traveling at least 4 times a year.
That's what I was thinking. That's what when this invitation came up, I told Livia, I said, I've been thinking like maybe 2 times a year travel would be good. But I just was like, I got to have someone kicking me, to say, let's go now. That's what my friend Belle did in June. We went for her birthday to Italy and Madrid and, Spain and France, and now this comes up like this. Yes. I'm like, well, this is my second trip this year. Like, what the heck, I'm just so excited.
Yeah. And it's beautiful.
And I'm so thankful to you for offering this to me.
No, thank you for accompanying me, because the second one was going to be my 16-year-old grandson. So,
well, I'm sure that would have been fun too. But we're going to have for sure a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's the type of traveling that I love. 10 days, 15 days. Maybe 4 times a year, every 2 months, every 3 months, and really get to know the country, the culture, sit in a coffee, get the energy of the people, and bring a lot of business cards, because you're going to get those Romanian people who wants to come into the United States.
Okay.
They will have with them, okay, here is Tracy.
Okay.
And they will follow you.
Where is Tracy? Being Tracy. My sister always says, I can't be Tracy, but I can be Tracy's sister. That's what my sister Jacqueline says.
And you have a great personality. What I like about you since I met you was that, sometimes when people goes down, they're pessimistic, they're down, and it takes time for them to go back to where they were emotionally.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
But you, it's like, you're going down, but you recover.
Challenges.
Immediately.
Challenges.
You really work with yourself, and you're always so, happy, up there, enjoying.
Yeah.
That actually, that time when I called you, I was so depressed. I said, it's time to see Tracy, because she brings me up to life. Because it's good.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was also hearing on Facebook. People were like, "Oh, they saw me at my father's, wake, and dealing with the death of my father, and they were like, wow, you just seem so happy. It didn't seem like it was hitting you." Well, that's because I choose happiness, right? So it's all about what you choose. I mean, I'm sad too. If I sit there and think about it, I've sobbed in my bed by myself. My neighbor probably hears me, I thought, but you just have to eventually, it's up to you. whether you're going to remain sad or if you're going to choose happiness and choose life and choose activity. And that's why it's so important to make changes in your life and to take advantage. You know, there's that thing that says you don't say no when you're invited to do something. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of people say this, that you should, I mean, like, I'm doing the year where I don't say no. And that's what I thought of too.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm gonna
like
keep
you
that.
just
I
keep
won't
saying
say
yes.
no
Just
when
say
I'm
yes.
invited.
Be positive, right? It's all about positivity. You know, life is gonna look at you the way you look at it, is what I think. So anyway, well, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, my Spotify. I'm on Apple. Please post. Like it, subscribe, follow, share it, help us grow. We're looking to grow and reach as many people as we can with our positive message. And thank you so much again for coming
Thank
today.
you. And be happy. Yes, I like that. Choose to be happy.
Let's choose to be happy. We're going to choose to be happy this Halloween. Have a great year, you guys. We love you. Rest